Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my craft table. If you're new here, my name is Jen and I'm really glad to meet you. In today's video, we have finally made it to day 13 of the Spellbinders 13 days of Craftoween. So now we are at the very end. If you've missed days 1 through 12, down in the description, I will have a link to the entire playlist that I've put together for the series, and I will have all of the supplies and materials that I'm using listed down below as well. So without further ado, let's open up the final day of the Spellbinders 13 days of Craftoween and check out what we have for day 13. Stamps and embellishments, and then here's our day 13 folder. How nice is that? And then let's reveal what's inside. So we started with a vampire, a little Dracula, and we're ending with a coffin. That is definitely very full circle. Love it. Cute little hand peeking out there. So we have some skull and crossbones, and then we have the coffin. It looks like we have an inside layer, a back layer, in the front, of course, and then the suggested sentiment. I think this is going to be an easy card build. This is going to be super fun. So let me go get all of the supplies and materials that I want to use for the project, and then we will begin. All right, I think I have everything ready that I want to use for this card. So I've got my A2 card base, that's right here. And I've got a couple of pieces for layering. And then I have the black for the coffin. And then this inside piece that just kind of peeks around. I thought it would be fun to do like a red glitter. And then finally, I do really like that green hand sticking out there. I think that is so super cute. And then I have white. So this will be for the skull and crossbones, as well as for the sentiment. So in fact, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do on the sentiment, but I think this is a great start. So I am going to start out by die cutting, and I don't think this one will take us very long either. So this is a small, simple little die set. So I am going to grab some scissors. All right, we've got the main part of the coffin and then the outer layer here, the outer part of the coffin. Okay, so we have that on there. I'm going to go ahead and run those through the machine. Okay, so here is our outer layer of our coffin. Here is the top layer of our coffin. Just going to set those here on my magnet. Then we've got, oh, I wanted to use the red. Okay, let's use this red. Is there enough space over here? I do believe so. That'll give me a nice square scrap. I've got the red. We will have this white. And finally, we will have this little green piece here. All right, let's get these ready to run through the machine. All right, so a couple of thoughts. I have really enjoyed this series, and I know not everybody is into cards or into Halloween, for that matter, but this has been a really fun series, and I really have enjoyed it. I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. And I was thinking, I have an idea in mind for a bonus card. So this is day 13. It is the last day, but I really do feel like a bonus card would be super fun. So I'm really thinking about doing that. You'll have to hopefully come back for that day number 14, the bonus. All right. Actually zoom out just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have all of these deals here. So we have the skull and crossbones, we have the little hand peeking out, and we actually have some extra bones. And then I don't know if you remember, but from my last card, I actually have some bats. And I feel like on this card, bats would be appropriate. So got those. All right, let's get all of this put together. And let's see here. I'm gonna grab glue. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna get my glue here. And where did my tweezers go? Here they are. I am going to get the red layer of our coffin. Okay, put on here. And really, I just need to get it pretty evenly spaced around. And so liquid glue affords me the opportunity to move it around if I need to. And I think that is pretty centered. That looks really good. And then we need our top layer, and the top layer, really you have kind of, you can put it however you want. I do kind of like this, you know, I'm just following the suggested picture, and I'm actually okay with that. I could actually even have it offset like that, or even like that. I like that. I think I'm going to go with that there. So we'll put glue here on the back. Hopefully I can remember where I said I was going to put it. I think I wanted it a little offset, like that. I may have to get out some tape runner. This is a textured glitter. Well, this is glitter, and then this right here is textured from the die. So let me put that right there until it starts to stick. And while we're doing that, we can go ahead and put the green hand on there as well. And I don't want those fingers to be super smushy. So let's put it about right here. Okay, so just like that. And then I'll just put the magnet on top of all of it like that. Hopefully in a minute or two, that glue will have caught on the glitter. Okay, so I've got these pieces here. There is a tiny little nose that needs to come out of the skull. So there we go. Really, that's it. That's all that we needed to do. So I think while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and work on our card base. Okay, so the suggested stamp is the Hope Your Halloween is to Die For. And then let's see, I'm really liking the Have a Fantastic Night. So kind of like alluding to the Dracula that is trying to come out of our little coffin here. So I want to use that on the inside. Well, actually, you know, I'm not sure. What do you think would be better? Hope your Halloween is to die for. Have a fantastic night. I'm not 100% sure on that. So let's set that aside for a minute while I get to thinking. Let's grab our paper trimmer. Move these. Shift that a little bit. Okay. So the A2 card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I think let's try 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And I know that I will like that on the front of the card base. It does give it a little bit of a white margin, so you can see that. And then let's go with 3 3/4 by 5. Oh, maybe I'm gonna have to go smaller for sure. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to go smaller. So we'll do that in a second. But yeah, see, we're actually, that I would have gone smaller anyway, even with this being not cut out like that, because I do want more of this. So let's see, let's do the long way first. So this is 5. So if I do 4 1/2, that takes care of that. Let's check this. Okay, so 4 1/2 gives me a really good margin from top to bottom. So then if I did 3 1/4, let's do 3 3/8 side to side. I can always trim it down just a little bit more. Okay, so do we like that? Yeah, I think it needs to be even. So we'll just put this at 3 1/4. Okay. All right, I like that. I don't know why it took me so long to decide that. And then I do want the red. Let's check this out right here and see if this is, oh yeah, I think that's pretty good. So a really strong magnet or a heavy something or other to sit on top of this, not a problem. And then if I put it like that, I can put my sentiment right down here in the middle. I think that's fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and use my white embossing powder for that. So we're going to set all of these things off to the side and take care of this first. So we've got all of those little elements in there. And I've got, let me grab my embossing supplies. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my mini Misty, and here is my card panel. Get that on there. I'm going to borrow this just to put it where I think I want it and set that right there. I'm going to put my sentiment down just like that and pick that up. All right. And then I don't need this anymore. This can go back over with the other elements. I'm going to grab my anti-static powder, get that nice and prepped, ready to go. And okay, grab my Versamark. And here we go. Get a nice impression. Okay. And I think that's off a little bit. So that's a finger width. That's way more. So my question would be, do I leave it? No, I think I need to not leave it. Let me rethink this for a second. Okay, so I'm going to turn this paper over just like that. That's an easy fix. Then I'm going to get this in the middle. So we're at 3 1/4. Okay, I definitely think that's better. All right, we'll do this. That is actually, you know, one thing that's really interesting about the Versamark is that if you make a mistake, you can actually fix it pretty quickly before you put your card together. Okay, press. That's a great impression. The anti-static powder is a great addition because it helps the embossing powder not to stick to the rest of the card, but you can also see exactly where your Versamark ink is, and it just makes such a good impression. All right, I think that's great. We can take this out, set that aside, grab the glitter tray. I love this tray. I got it at Michael's and it was, you know, not very expensive. I think I even used a coupon on it, but you can see like I still have glitter, embossing powder in here from the black glitter that I used a while back. But I just love it because it does pick up, or catches any of the excess that I happen to maybe spill off of the little white paper here. Okay, got that. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. Okay. And I'm gonna do that again. Oh, that looks really good. That's a great impression. All right, let's set that aside and funnel this back into the jar. Close it up before I spill it everywhere. And then this can get moved off to the side as well. Okay. And then for the embossing, what I like to do is I like to start heating it from the back first. And I want to say I either learned that from Jennifer McGuire or Natalie Bowers. I can't remember, to be honest. But what I have found is I saw it from another card creator. I started doing it from the back and I've actually gotten such better results. So if you're new to heat embossing, give that a try. Start heating it from the back first. Then you can finish it off on the front. And I have found that I get much better results than just going on the front. All right, I'm going to turn this on for about 15 to 30 seconds, let it get nice and hot. Then I will heat emboss this and we will continue on with the card. There we go. That worked out really well and it actually went really fast. I'm going to take this cloth and just buff off that embossing powder, the anti-static powder. And you can also use your finger like this because your fingers do have natural oils. So your paper just comes right back to life. So we have this. We can move these out of the way. And now we can bring in everything that we want to work with. Let's see, do I want to use, I think I'm going to use a little bit of tape runner, and then I will also put a little bit of liquid glue. All right, I've got my tape runner on the back, and I'm just going to go around the edge with some liquid glue, and then maybe a little bit in the middle. Don't need too much. And then bring this in. So this panel is 4 wide. Okay, and about right there. So I'm going to bring this okay. I think that is nice and center. I sure hope so. And there we go. That is the front panel of our card. Next, we're going to bring in these items here. So I do have a couple of bats from the previous day. This, I think, day number 9. These were bats created from the die used to make those flowers on day number 9. Let's see, do I want to do some foam on the back of here? Let's see about putting some foam on the back of this. All right, will that fit for us? That's not too bad. Let me trim off this tiny little corner. So this is some leftover pieces from those foam panels that I like to use. And then we can get some foam put around the side here. Okay, we definitely need like double dimension around this edge here, because this edge is not the same level as the other one. So put that, take this particular release paper off, and then we'll put another strand like right here. Okay, there is the last piece. Here's the last piece of our foam tape. Got these bones here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those extra bones, but I definitely am going to take these release papers off. We're going to grab a little bit of liquid glue and get this down where it needs to go before we add the rest of the card elements. So let me put that right there. Okay. All right, so we're going to put that right here. And I do see a tiny piece of foam adhesive. Let me see if I can tuck that up under there. There. Perfect, that will work. And then we can put on our skull. Okay, so that will go right here in the middle of the black top to our coffin. And then we have our skull and crossbones. And those can go just like that. Okay. I think I'm going to put these bones in my little embellishment bag from this series. So when you're die cutting, sometimes, you know, it's good to just die cut more than you need. And that way you have it for other things. All right, so I thought it would be fun to have some bats around the card. So we could have one here and one there for sure. Do we need one up here or one down there? Kind of like that, or do we just want the 2? I feel like we need 3. What do you guys think of that? The other thing we could do is we could cut this one off and kind of have it, actually we could have it like that. And then this one, we could kind of cut that off and have it kind of tucked up under there. Let's do that. So we'll grab this bat and put this down over here. I think I definitely got too much glue there. All right, we'll do our second bat. I'll have it really cattywampus like that. Okay, that one kind of wants to come up a little bit, so we'll let that sit. And then this one here, where do I need to put foam tape? Okay, so I need to put foam tape on those two pieces. Let's grab a tiny little bit. I'm going to take off that release paper and we're going to put glue on the other end of the bat here, just a little dot, because that will sit on top of my coffin, kind of like that. And I probably could have popped that up with more. I'm wondering if I could pull that up. It does need more foam tape. That will work so much better. Okay, I think that's going to work so much better. So we'll put that right there. Oh yeah, now it's the same level as the top of the coffin. Okay, let's see how that bat's doing great. Let's put it down on that one. This one's fine. And then this one, I thought it would be neat to just kind of trim off, maybe about right there. And we're gonna just kind of tuck that up under here, kind of like that. Okay. All right, that can sit on there for a minute. All right, so while this just kind of sits there for a minute, I think that is perfect. I'm going to bring back in my MISTI. We can do the inside sentiment. And let me turn it around this way. Get this in the corner. Grab the stamp. Okay, have a fantastic night. There. Perfect. Close that down to pick it up. Grab our VersaFine. This one can come off. We no longer need Hope Your Halloween is to Die For. We just need this one. Press that down. Okay, that looks great. Usually my VersaFine, I only need one pass, which is why I love it for a sentiment. Okay, we're gonna let that dry for just a second while we put the foam panel on the back of our regular card panel. All right, so this panel here, this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I can take this down a little bit less than 4. So I'm gonna take this down to 3 7/8. And then I think I need to trim these ends here. So let's turn that around. 5 1/8. That should fit on the back without interfering. So we double check. Yes, I believe that will work. Pull off these release papers. Okay. And then we'll pull off these release papers. And then we are going to get our card base, make sure it's facing the right direction. Grab one of the Halloween logo stickers. That goes on the back. Right there in the middle. Okay. All right, so this right here is going to go right here on the middle of this panel. All right, that looks fantastic. All right, well, here is our final card of the 13 days of Craftoween from Spellbinders. This was such a fun series to do, and I'm really glad that you were here to share it with me. Thank you for spending your time to watch my videos. Give them likes, give them comments. I just really appreciate it. I think what I'm going to try to do is make a bonus card. I've got a really neat idea for that. So my plan is to try and get a bonus card out for you, so there will be a day 14. I don't know if it'll exactly be tomorrow, but I would like to do that. So I think it'll be super fun. And if you missed days 1 through 12, check out the description box below for a link to the playlist, as well as all supplies and materials that I used. My next round of craft videos should be some fall and Halloween Cricut crafts, so I hope I will see you in those as well. So until I see you again in the next card or craft, as always, have an amazing day and happy crafting.
Thank you all so much for watching today. I'm so glad that you can join me at my craft table. If you're not already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos arrive. Have a great day, and as always, happy crafting.